Facebook Live, what is cracking? Hey, I am doing my very first podcast, getting ready to record it right now. So I thought I'd go Facebook Live with it. Inaugural podcast edition. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's cracking, everybody? Tommy Mosley here. Thanks for tuning in to Pervasive Happiness with Tommy Mosley. This is my inaugural podcast. This is the first of many to come on my message of pervasive happiness. I want to take a minute to give you the purpose, what this is, what you can expect, what it is and what it's not, and hopefully you'll be someone who subscribes to this and listens to it all the time. I'm doing this for a couple reasons. Number one, I have a message inside of me that I want to get out regarding enjoying your life as much as you can. That's one reason. Number two, also I'm doing podcasts because a sponsor approached me to do a podcast. So I'm officially sponsored on my very first podcast. So I want to thank Gamergy, which is energy drink for gamers. I don't know a lot about games. I don't play a lot of video games, but I do know a lot about energy drinks, and this one is really good. They have 4 different flavors. This is the Red Alert. This is real stuff, the real deal. I love it. Gamergy. So this podcast is brought to you by Gamergy. So hey, here's what's up. Here's what this podcast is all about. Everything in my life is done to get the most that I can out of this life, and I want to teach my family to do the same. And I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that you cannot be of any positive impact to this world if you don't first have happiness. I think happiness is one of those things that's overlooked. People have a lot of weird reasons why they either don't care if they're happy or they don't feel like they need to work on happiness. I'm here to tell you that needs to be your number one priority in life. And I know plenty of you disagree with me, and I'm fine with that. I'm not here to find agreeable people. I'm here to express my point of view and help those of you who actually want to become happier. You can strategically increase your set point of happiness. There's science behind it. There's a whole field of positive psychology right now that will tell you exactly how to do that. So the purpose of this, my life's purpose, is to find the joy that is right now, every single moment, enjoy every moment, and then the next moment, and then the next moment, and do that for the next 100 years. There is no time that it will not be right now. Happiness is not a later on thing. You don't get the job, the career, the wife, anything like that, and suddenly have happiness. You either have happiness right now or figure out how to have it right now, or you don't have it. So a little bit about the format of this show. I don't want to do a ton of monologues and just myself as a talking head, so I have lined up a couple of awesome interviews coming up. I still haven't figured out the cadence of it yet. I'm a white belt podcaster. We'll start right there. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first time. I did buy this expensive microphone equipment so I can really look like I know what I'm doing. So hopefully this sounds good, and got a fancy recorder that to do my podcast. So I got the look of a podcaster now, and hopefully soon I will be a great podcaster, because I believe anything in life that you want to do and get good at, you can get good at. Everything starts as a white belt, but a black belt's just a white belt that didn't quit. So my goal is to become a black belt podcaster, and the reason for that is I want to impact as many people as I can and teach them how to increase their happiness. Here's the thing on happiness. Let's start right here. You want to be happy, you must wage a media war for your mind. There is no other way around it. In this day and age, media comes at you fast and furious, and it's almost never good news. I mean, everyone has a product to sell, and the news is certainly no exception. The news does not exist to educate you, to inform you. The news exists as a product, and they have a product to sell, and their product is uncertainty. With that uncertainty becomes a lot of fear, and it's gotten to a point with the 24/7 and the social media where people are literally riddled with fear and cannot take their eyes off of what's wrong in life. So start right there. You'll have to wage a media war for your mind, and this is part of it, putting stuff in, strategies that will help you focus on the good stuff in life, that will help you just realize life is good. We've been given this amazing gift of life, yet a lot of us spend our whole time just complaining about it and what's going on and what's wrong. So a little bit about why happiness for me. I grew up trying to be happy. That's all I ever wanted to do. And I would argue that I have tried more things that don't make you happy than the average person. But behind all that, I was just trying to have a good time. I was trying to be happy. For the past 20 years, 20 plus years, about 25 years, I've been reading self-help books. I've gone to hundreds and hundreds of different programs. There's nothing I haven't heard about there or haven't tried. So part of the format of this is going to be to review a lot of that stuff for you, because the personal development space is huge. It's a $10 billion per year industry. And I would guess, from my experience, 90% of it is garbage. 90% of it is a ham sandwich. But there is about 10% out there that is amazing stuff that can truly help you grow. And so that'll be part of the format of this program, is reviewing some of the events I've been to, reviewing some of the events that I'm going to. I go to a lot of events and will be going to in the future, and we'll be looking to interview different people there. You know, what makes me an expert is, again, I've tried so many. I mean, I tried drinking, drugs, anything you can be addicted to, I've been addicted to. And I've tried all that stuff. Underneath it was all just trying to feel good. You know, there's 5 words that apply to every single human being on this planet, whether you admit it or not. And those are, I want to feel good. That's all of us. And it manifests itself in a whole lot of different ways. I think it's good to have a starting point and realize, hey man, this life's been given us a gift. We're hurling through space at 67,000 miles per hour. We're here for a handful of years. We might as well enjoy every moment of it. You know, stop taking yourself so seriously and go. It is an absolute gift, and it takes some intention to, in this day and age, to really realize that, to really take a step back and see that, man, this is just a gift from God. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to ride it out all the way. I've done everything, gone through a recovery program, don't do drugs, don't do alcohol anymore, a long time ago, like 25 plus years ago. But behind all that, it was just trying to feel good. And then, you know, got into religion, was a pastor for 12 years. That's not where happiness was for me. I mean, I'm not anti-religion, I'm not anti-Christian, I'm not anti-Muslim, I'm not anti that. I found it to be an empty road of rules, control, and of course, like a lot of things in money, everyone has a product to sell. It was all about the money at the end of the day. But I did get some great stuff out of, you know, studying Jesus and his teachings, and studying actually there's a lot of great spiritual leaders out there. And one thing I want to kind of preface this program with is, I'm not looking to make this a Bible study. I'm not looking to make this a religious study or an anti-religious study. If you don't agree with me, it's fine. You shouldn't. And if I don't agree with you, it's fine. I shouldn't. We all have these paths that we have to take in our life. We all have to find our own way. And, you know, I have my beliefs, but I do not expect you to have the same beliefs as me, and hopefully you don't expect the same as me. And I say that just kind of a disclaimer. Please don't throw a bunch of Bible verses at me anymore and stop trying to save me again. I've drilled it down to this. For me, there are 3 pillars of happiness, and this is for me. This is 3 things I can work on daily that will always, always, always increase my happiness. And those 3 things are, number 1, focus, number 2, grow, and number 3, give. Those 3 areas, if you work on those every single day, you can increase your happiness, therefore increasing the enjoyment of your life, therefore increasing the enjoyment of the life of people around you. Here's one quick thing on happiness. When you're happy, it rubs off on people around you. Same goes with when you're miserable. Some of you are out there going through life not even realizing that there's a reason people avoid you and are always arguing with you. It's because you're just constantly doing negative. You know, the same thing is true if you decide to really make a positive impact and be happy. People will be attracted to you, and you'll be able to impact them positively. Let me also give you another disclaimer. I haven't mastered it. I've not figured out. I believe I'm probably the happiest person that I actually know. Wouldn't trade my life with anyone, and that's mostly just because I've learned to be grateful as much as I can all day, every day. But I haven't mastered it. I want to spend the rest of my days doing everything I can to teach the art and the science of happiness, the art and science of fulfillment, the art and science of having a better life. Obviously, you don't get there just by, you don't drift there by yourself. You won't get a great life just boom, just like that. You have to work at it. You have to work at finding things that, you know, we'll go into a lot of the different keys to happiness. But those 3 things, focus, grow, and give. Number 1, focus. What you focus on in life expands, period. No other way around it. There's what's wrong will always be there, but you know what? So is what's right. If you focus on the crap, if you watch the news, if you even watch the news, I would go as far to say if you watch the news more than 2 minutes a day, your life probably is not that good. If you watch an hour plus news a day, or if you're one of those news junkies, I would almost guarantee you're riddled with fear and your life is not that good. That's my opinion. You have to find a way to focus on the good stuff in life. You know, there's thousands of bad things at any given time happening in the world right now, but there's also hundreds of thousands of times more good things going on in the world right now. It's just a matter of you got to decide which one do you want to focus on. That takes a little intention, and you know, part of that's just learning how to be grateful and count your blessings. It's not even so much what you're grateful for, it's more that you are grateful. So there's focus, there's grow. Number 2 is grow, and progress equals happiness. And a lot of this stuff, by the way, I didn't come up with this stuff myself. This is stuff I've realized through watching, reading, learning other people. So I'll just tell you right up front, any good information out there that works in this world, I'm going to steal it and I'm going to use it and I'm going to share it with you, because I don't think there's any, I'm not trying to unlock any riddle. I'm trying to find people who've already unlocked the riddle and say, hey, this guy's figured out this. And one of the things that I think I got that from Tony Robbins, progress equals happiness, but it's so true. You know, you want to increase your happiness, pick some areas, and it doesn't necessarily mean progress in a certain area. Find some areas that you're passionate about, get better and grow, and watch what it does to your happiness. So there's focus on the good stuff. There's number 2, there's grow, and then number 3, there's give. Give, you absolutely must find a way to live your life for more than just yourself. A life lived for yourself is hardly a life worth living. That is just simply the bottom line on that. And again, I haven't figured this all out. I wasn't born a giver. I'm the happiest person I know, but I'm also the most selfish person that I know. And so for me, the battle was learning to, and sometimes when I started learning how to serve and give, I realized it felt good, and almost in a weird oxymoron way, I was giving because I knew that it blessed me. But I've gotten to a point now where I know that in life, my giving and helping other people is, I either do that and I have some satisfaction, happy in life, or I don't do that and I don't. It's one of those critical things. I think all 3 of those pillars of happiness have to be applied every single day. And again, the whole point is just to start to fill your mind with stuff that helps you enjoy life more. You know, let's get that out of there right now, because there's a lot of people have this hard time with the whole just wanting to be happy. That I've had people just come constantly telling me, hey, life's more than just being happy. And you know what? You can think that if you want. You can think life's miserable all your life. You can think whatever you want. You're not going to change my mind, though. I am here to enjoy every single moment of my life, and I'm here to teach my family to do the same, and hopefully teach anyone else out there who wants to learn. I'm definitely not here to argue why you should make happiness a priority. If you don't believe that's the case, great, then don't. I believe it's the case, and I'm going to continue to put off the negative crap until, I'll probably put it off till I'm like 100. As soon as I'm 100, I will start focusing on negative crap in my life. Maybe not. Anyway, that's the plan for me. I do believe that success leaves clues, happiness leaves clues. There are people who have a tremendous amount of peace in their life, that have a certain amount of satisfaction and happiness, that I look to them to see how do they, what are their rituals, habits, and routines for every daily to enjoy life as much as they can. I believe you need to have a coach in certain areas of your life. I mean, for me personally, I have a physical fitness coach, I have an Olympic lifting coach, I have a CrossFit coach, I have a jiu-jitsu coach, I have a money coach, a guy who I talk to and run all my money stuff by, because I enjoy the art and science of money. I don't think it's everything, but it is certainly a fun game to play. It's like jiu-jitsu. I do it every day for a little bit to try and increase it because I like it. And the other area I have a couple of coaches in is the spiritual area, or I call it happiness. I believe there is value in having a happiness coach, and that's kind of the whole point of this program. I don't have time. I'm not willing to go do individual coaching, but I do think stuff like this, putting positive stuff in your mind, will help increase your happiness as you go through the days of your life. So I have a question for you in this inaugural podcast, again brought to you by Gamergy. And the question for you is this, and it's very simple. Are you happy? That is the question. And don't bullshit yourself either. Don't try and say, well, I don't have to be happy, or I'll be happy when this happens, with that. It's a simple question. It's, are you happy? Are you happy? You know, that's a big one, and you got to ask yourself at the gut level to even find out what the obstacles are, because most of the time when you ask yourself that question, you'll realize there's things that will come up that need to be knocked down that are get in the way of your happiness. And the first step to realizing that is asking yourself that honest gut level question, and then looking at what stands in the way of that. And then the most important question, that's your question, but the most important question you can ask is, do you want to be happy? Do you want to be happy? And I'm not talking about someday later on down the road, and I'm not talking about, yeah, I'll be happy if this, ask yourself that question and see what the answer is, because that's all that matters. Do you want to be happy? If you are, figure out a way to be happy right now in life, because there's never a time that it won't be right now. It will always be right now. So figure out a way to be happy in your life and go from there. Again, I don't have all the answers. I do have tremendous amount of experience with self-help world and with practicing these techniques that I'm going to teach. I've had, like I said, I went through the whole religious circle. I went through the whole, life circle. I went through a lot of crime, did a lot of different stuff, had very clear what stuff makes me unhappy, what brings unhappiness to not only me, to others around me. And I've also find some things that joy. And the side note, this is not all just my opinion. There's a whole science to positive psychology. See, back in the day, it used to be psychology was only focused on sick people, mentally sick people, and making them well. Recently, I think around the 90s, there became a new field emerged in the Pennsylvania area, actually, where I was born, and it has to do with positive psychology, basically saying, hey, how do we take and make normal psychology even better and more positive? And some of the things they discover are they're life-changing. And we'll get into this more in later podcasts, but some of the stuff around, your expectations are directly correlated with your happiness. And how do you set your expectations? Or I should say this, your expectations are directly correlated with your unhappiness, which by reverse, if you can figure out how to adjust those and make them more realistic, or make them work on not even having them as much as you can. This life is not yours to drive. It's yours to enjoy. The more you try and drive it, the less you enjoy it. But there's also some things you learn, like there's studies that have been done. They give someone something that gives them immediate happiness, and it spikes their happiness right away, and then it kind of goes back to that normal point. But then they had them do random acts of kindness, and one of the craziest thing is, or it's not crazy if you know it and if you lived it, but that will increase your happiness and it'll sustain it. So it's almost like one of these things of where we have this weird thing in our mind where we try to be happy by serving ourselves, and it doesn't work. It just spikes up, spikes down. It's, highs, lows, highs, lows. But if you want to experience highs and increase happiness, you've got to figure out a way to be kind to other people. I'm not talking about some grandiose, start a nonprofit or anything like that, give all your money to the church or anything like that. I'm talking about the people who God brings, the universe brings, whatever you want to call it, in front of you every day. Figure out a way to be kind to them. The ones that are sitting right in front of you. That's where the juice is at. That's where your days become better and better. But anyway, I'm always open to your input. Not really looking for arguing, but would love to hear from you. You can email me at Tommy@TommyMosley.com. That's Mosley. You can Facebook message me, Tommy Mosley, Tommy Mosley. And you can subscribe to this podcast. That would be awesome. If you got any value from this, which I don't think you probably did since this is an introductory, but the ones going forward hopefully will be packed with value. They'll be worth $1 million each episode, and I'm giving them to you for free. Would be awesome if you share it. And thanks for listening. Thanks for having me. I love this idea of training people and teaching people how to increase their happiness, because the worst case scenario is nobody listens to this and my happiness increases just by teaching the airwaves about happiness. but I'm optimistic, so I think there will be at least one of you that will get value from this. Again, thanks Gamergy for being my first official sponsor. It means a lot. Able to buy a lot of this expensive, crazy, fancy equipment. Thanks to Gamergy. Drink it up. It's good. Real energy. Get your game on. Whether you play games or not, you could even, it's legal to drink this before you podcast or just instead of coffee, whatever. It actually tastes a lot like Kool-Aid, which I really like. Other energy drinks are carbonated. This one's not. This is the best. For real, this is the best one of them all that I find, and I've tried them all. Anyway, thanks again for listening. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. All right. Facebook Live. Love you.